once you leave things to just marinate in a way, it's like it comes back and it's like, okay, I I can think clearly now and see what's actually happening. And what is happening is a spiritual manifestation. What happened to Kobe Bryant was on a spiritual level, and it's still going on. It's not just about him passing on. There's numerology, there's metaphysics involved, spirituality involved, and it's bigger than basketball. But Kobe was a special player, and at the age of 17, people were already talking about how good he or how great he could be in the league. So it was known, it was written in the stars that Kobe Bryant would be who he was and or who he is today. It was written in the stars and he knew it himself. What he came into the league aspiring to do was catch up to the greatness of the legendary Michael Jeffrey Jordan, who was considered at the time the greatest basketball player to ever live, the GOAT. And Kobe wanted that. Kobe was, he had a fierce ambition, a fire that burned inside of him, and he was trying to chase Michael Jordan in order to get to be the greatest player and to elevate himself above Michael. So his whole career, that's all he ever aspired to do. So with that desire, with that ambition, Kobe set a spiritual tie or a spiritual bond with the game of basketball. A spiritual meaning, what I mean by a spiritual tie is that he sort of gave himself to the game, to the spirit of basketball.
I knew one thing was real. I fell in love with you. A love so deep, I gave you my all. From my mind and body to my spirit and soul.
And it lives. I mean, you can feel it. Like, there's a unified energy whenever people are in the crowds, like as the audience watching. There's an energy that's around, and I mean, just for the mere fact that people are gathered in the same arena, in the same place, for the same reason, is already some form of energy being channeled through. So when Kobe made that spiritual pact, he said, I want to be the greatest basketball player ever, and I am willing to do whatever it takes to get there. He had to sacrifice a lot. He had to sacrifice his childhood. He had to sacrifice being a normal teenager. Kobe was never a normal teenager. I mean, this guy was so dedicated and determined to do what he set out to do. His life mission was already set in stone, and he wanted to fulfill it so bad that he was willing to sacrifice a lot to get to where he was. Kobe, still on that mission that he was on, wanted to take on everybody. He wanted to kill everybody, including his teammates in practice. You'd hear these crazy stories about Kobe going one-on-one against his own teammates and destroying them because of that grit, that power that was within him. And this was all during the time he was wearing the number 8. And the number 8, I think, is symbolic of completion, or not completion, but perfection. As the like creation story from the Bible. I always refer to the Bible because it's like the easiest for people to grasp if they haven't explored this type of esoteric knowledge. So in the Bible, God created earth 6 days, 7th day he rested, and that meant completion. The 8 signifies perfection. So with number 8, Kobe wore that for I think about 10 years into his career, and then changed to number 24 when he started calling himself the Black Mamba. and he started to embody every principle that resides within that animal, that mystical dark force. He embodied. He was using the dark side of the force. You know how in Star Wars they talk about the dark side of the force? Kobe used that to his advantage. And these energies are available to any one of us if you are able to, know about it and actually take the time to invest spiritually in using it. So whether you use it for the right reasons or wrong reasons is up to you at the end of the day, but there are consequences to it as well. It's like these forces can end up overtaking and possessing you and using you rather than you using them. But it seemed like Kobe had mastered this force or the spirit of the Black Mamba, and you would see it in his eyes in certain games when he just give you that stare and that like a hiss, he'd give you that hiss. I think it was in the playoffs 2006 or 2007 against the Phoenix Suns, Smoosh Parker in the clutch got the steal. The ball went to Kobe. Kobe hit the clutch shot to keep the game going into overtime, and he gave that hiss. And over time, the Black Mamba became Kobe, and Kobe became the Black Mamba. It was a mutual partnership of usage. Like Kobe would use the Black Mamba as a persona or an alter ego whenever he'd play a game, and the Black Mamba would live through Kobe. That spirit, that energy would live through Kobe, and that's called channeling. So, the podcast, we said that the podcast is all about spirituality, metaphysics. So these are topics that pertain to that as well. So with Kobe using that and him having that spiritual bond or that spiritual tie to the game of basketball, it became a lifetime thing. It's like Kobe's life was basketball. That spiritual tie that he made meant that Kobe's life was basketball. That was it. He was never going to live on any longer outside of basketball. And what we saw were glimpses of Kobe's greatness as a human being, not as a basketball player, but as a human being. I mean, the man retired, and as soon as he retired, he wins an Oscar, and an Emmy Award as well. I mean, for the documentary Dear Basketball. So the significance of Kobe Bryant wearing the number 24 is that in numerology, the number 2 plus 4 equals 6. And there's that whole adage about 666 being the number of the devil or the number of the beast. In Revelations, they talk about the beast, the number of the beast on the Bible. In the Bible, my bad. But that number is not of the beast. That number is carbon. 6 protons, 6 electrons, and 6 neutrons. That's what the number 666 is. Carbon, black, whatever. You see where I'm getting at? Black Mamba, black carbon, black people, black universe, black sky. You guys get me? But I mean, that numbers is significant in terms of channeling energy. So Kobe knew that. And if you look at Jordan's number 23, LeBron also has the number 23. And it's significant in the sense that in numerology, again, 2 times 3, which is 6. And again, I think it's if you add or if you divide 6 divided by 2. Let's try this. There I go, opening my camera. But let's try. If you put 2 divided by 3 in your calculator, what does it give you? I don't know if you guys are going to see that, but try it out. 2 divided by 3. That's how that numerology works. And we live in a numbers-based universe, and every number has a vibration of its own. So the number 23, the vibration of that number lives as well. The number 24, the vibration of that lives. It breathes and lives. Someone tell me how, because LeBron James said it himself.
All-Star Week is just it's surreal. It doesn't make no sense, but the universe just puts things in your life, and when you, I guess, when you live in the right way, or you just giving everything to whatever you're doing, things happen organically, and it's not supposed to make sense, but it just happens.
Like, it doesn't make any sense for him to overtake Kobe on the scoring list, all-time scoring list, because that's when Kobe died. When the day after, LeBron passed him on the scoring list in his hometown of Philadelphia. Remember I said Kobe Bryant came into the league at age 17? LeBron James passed Kobe on the scoring list in his 17th season. And LeBron James himself said it doesn't make sense. But if you work hard and you sacrifice a lot of things, the universe puts things in line for you. Because there's even that saying as well that says, if you want something, you ask the universe, speak it into existence, and the universe will conspire towards helping you towards that. So, what did LeBron James sacrifice? What did LeBron James give in order for him to, for the universe to conspire to help him achieve his goals and his aspirations? Did the universe move Kobe out the way for LeBron? Did Kobe know? There's so much. I have so many questions when it comes to this because none of it makes sense. It's like, okay, let me not say it doesn't make sense. It does make sense. It makes perfect sense. But it's so illogical and irrational that it's like, mind-boggling. So I'd like to know. I don't have any definite answers for you guys. I don't have any definite theories. These are still like, I won't say definite theories because that's kind of redundant. It doesn't make any sense. But I don't have any answers for you guys in terms of this thing. But my theory is that Kobe made a spiritual tie to the game. And my condolences to the Bryant family, Vanessa, the kids that Kobe left behind, and Gianna was in the plane. And that's another thing, is that his older daughter wasn't into basketball, but Gianna was, and she was bound to be the greatest player in the WNBA of all time. If you guys saw the development, the growth that she had acquired at her young age, 13, she was bound to be, great at what she does. And unfortunately, that was cut short due to the tragic accident. And, our hearts go out to that tragedy. But there's certain questions and there's certain things that we look into that just don't add up, and we have to question it. At the end of the day, we have to question it. So Kobe pulled Gianna in to basketball, but it's not like he was forcing her. She wanted to be a basketball player, and what ended up taking her life was the game. What ended up taking Kobe's life was the game. And to those other people as well, like heartfelt, those other families involved in the plane crash. There were 9 people. Yeah, that's just me and my thoughts, my theory on Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace to Kobe. This has been Bands and the Humans podcast. I am your host, Bands, and you are the humans.